What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be posting my recipe for Channa Puri or Channa Roti. Now this is a recipe that I have not seen anywhere else, and being that a lot of us are stuck at home and being quarantined, I decided I wanted to put together a recipe where we could use shelf-stable items and things that we might be stocked up on at home. So I know most of us might have bought our flour, our dried peas, or our canned beans, and so I decided to make a roti out of it. So I'm using very simple ingredients. Just a can of chickpeas mashed up, and I stuffed it into a roti dough just like how you'd make dal puri. This is a great recipe for anybody who's allergic to dal and needs a substitute, or if they eat dal and their stomach gets bloated or anything like that, they can eat this. So I hope you guys enjoy my recipe. Let's get into this little quarantine cooking today. I'm going to start this Channa Puri off by taking some all-purpose flour and putting it in my bowl. I'm also going in with a little bit of baking powder to make my roti dough nice and soft. I am also going in with some salt, as well as a little bit of sugar. Now once you've gone ahead and added in all of those ingredients into your all-purpose flour, you're going to go in with a few tablespoons of oil. Now today I'm using some olive oil because that's what I have on hand, but by all means you can use vegetable oil, canola oil, even coconut oil, or even a little bit of butter or ghee if you wanted to. So all you're going to do now is mix it up really well, go in with some very clean hands, and mix it up until that oil is incorporated. Now once you incorporate the oil, you're going to go in with some very warm water, and you're going to keep adding it in until you get a very soft dough. My rule of thumb when making any type of roti that you're going to fill with a filling is to use very warm water to mix the dough, so this way it ends up very soft. And you also want to mix the dough until the dough is pretty sticky in texture and very soft, so this way you end up with a nice fluffy and succulent product. So we're coming up until the end here, and as you guys can see, you want to really keep adding water until you see no dry flour left in the bowl. That's sort of your indication to stop adding. I wish I could give you guys a measurement for the water, but it totally depends on the brand of flour that you use, as well as your temperature and your humidity. And as usual, just like when I mix any type of roti dough, you're going to see that I'm using the punching method. You're basically going to punch down the dough, grab the sides, and then you're going to flip it over and continue doing the same. Now once you've gotten all of your really warm water added in and mixed into your dough, you're going to drizzle on a little bit of oil, and you're going to start that same punching motion and the flipping motion, and you're going to keep on doing that until you get a smooth dough. Now a lot of you guys, when you tried my dal puri recipe, you told me that the dough was too sticky. However, you need to make the dough very sticky, and then you need to work it from here for about 5 to 6 minutes until it is nice and smooth on top. If you wanted to, of course, you could go ahead and use a hand mixer to go ahead and take care of this for you, but I'm doing it by hand the old-fashioned way. So I've been kneading this dough for about 5 minutes now, and as you guys can see, the top is nice and smooth. What I'm basically going to do is just go ahead and cover it now, and I'm going to allow it to sit for about 15 minutes or just until I go ahead and prepare my filling, so this way the glutens can rest. Remember, whenever you mix any type of dough, you really want to let those glutens rest a little bit, because if you were to start cooking this now, what would happen is the roti would start to stretch back on you and it wouldn't roll out very nice. So I'm going to let this rest, cover it with a damp paper towel and a kitchen towel to prevent it from drying out too. So once you've gone ahead and set your dough aside, we're going to start preparing the filling. And guys, this is probably one of the easiest roti fillings that you will ever make because there's no cooking required. So in my food processor, I've gone in with some cloves of garlic, some hot pepper, as well as my canned chickpeas. And of course, all of my ingredients and measurements will be in the description box down below. Now, what you guys are going to see me doing is I am slowly pulsing this mixture. You don't want to puree it, and you don't want to leave it on for too long periods of time, because if you do, it can become very extra wet and extra smooth, and if that happens, your roti won't roll out well. So you just want to go ahead and pulse it until it gets to a nice coarse texture, and then you will basically be done with your grinding process. So you want to keep opening it up and smushing it down, so this way all of the peas get crushed and they get nice and disintegrated. So this is my second batch of channa that I'm going to go ahead and begin to grind, but I wanted to mention that I'm adding in a piece of broadleaf thyme in here. This is basically that thick leaf Guyanese thyme that we use in a lot of our dishes. I like to add it in here because it gives a really nice flavor and a little different taste to the Channa Puri. So I'm basically going to crush that up a bit, and then once it's about halfway crushed, you're also going to go in with some scallions. And If you do not have fresh scallions or any of these fresh herbs, you can totally omit them and just make this with the ingredients that you have at home. Please do not go out to the store to buy any of these ingredients, especially during this time where we need to take extra precautions. So this is my finished filling for the Channa Puri that I finished blending. I added it into a bowl here, and I'm going in with some salt to taste. I'm also going in with a little bit of ground turmeric, also known as dye in Guyana. And I'm also going to go in with some roasted ground cumin, also known as geera. Now, all of these are the traditional flavoring agents that you would add into your normal dal puri, or even if you were making like aloo or potato roti. So I just wanted to play around with those flavors and put them into the same filling that I'm going to use for my Channa Puri. So we're basically going to mix this all together until everything's well combined. You're going to give it a quick taste just to make sure you're happy with the color as far as turmeric goes, and you're happy with the taste as far as the salt goes. And as you guys can see, this is definitely a little mushier than when you use like dal that you boiled and then you ground. However, I promise the roti will come out perfect, especially when the peas are like this, because it actually moistens the roti from the inside out. So now that my filling for the Channa Puri is done, I've gone ahead and set the filling aside, and now I'm going to go ahead and start to work with my dough. So basically what you're going to want to do is the dough that you've rested, you're going to go ahead and break it into small balls. Now, the best way to do this, being that this is a softer dough, you want to go ahead and sprinkle on a little bit of dried flour, scrape down the sides of the bowl, and then you can go ahead and break it into small balls. This just helps so this way the dough doesn't stick all over your hands, just to take these necessary precautions as you're making the dish so you can have an easy time doing so. So I'm going to break them into little balls, and for this recipe, using the 1 can of chickpeas and the measurements that I use for my dough, you will get exactly 6 rotis. Now these 6 rotis were pretty large, so I will go ahead and confidently say that you could get about 8 small rotis from this batch as well. So just depending on your size, especially the size of your tawa, you want to go ahead and regulate your size. Now once you've gotten all of your dough balls broken out into your desired size, we're going to go ahead and smoothen them out. Basically what that means is you're going to roll them around in your hand, fold them over onto each other, and you're going to get them nice and smooth on the top. This basically just helps you as you're going to go to fill your rotis. It helps make sure the filling is evenly distributed. If it's very craggly and not smooth on the top, you'll have a hard time filling them. So we're going to continue to go ahead and smoothen the tops of these, and then I'll show you how to fill the Channa Puri. So now that you've broken all of your balls and smoothened them out, you're going to go ahead and start to fill your Channa Puri. So just like when I fill my dal puri, you want to go ahead and flatten out one of the balls, and you want to make it thinner all around the edges, because that'll help when you go to close it up, so this way the edges and the middle end up being nice and even. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spread just a little bit of oil on this side, so this way the Channa filling doesn't stick too much on the inside, and it also helps the roti to expand as it cooks. Now, a lot of people will actually put flour in during this stage. I don't like doing that because I find that the flour tends to dry out the dough as it cooks. So basically what we're going to do now is I'm going to put about a few tablespoons of that Channa mixture in the middle of the roti, and I'm just going to go ahead and close it up. Now this step might take practice. I remember when I first started making dal puri or any other type of filled roti, it took a long time to practice it. Sometimes it can be very hard for people to get it filled. So basically what you're going to do is once you get it in there, you are going to fold over the sides, and you're going to pinch it together really well so nothing comes out, and you're going to put this one to the side, and we're going to continue filling the rest of our Channa Puri. So I went ahead and I finished filling all of my Channa Puris, and as soon as you're done filling all of them, you want to start rolling and cooking right away. The reason why I say this is because anytime you're making any type of filled rotis, you need to start cooking it right away, because if the dough starts to relax too much, it'll be very hard to roll out, and that filling can actually burst out very quick. So basically what you want to do is, just like you're rolling out a dal puri, make sure you have enough dried flour on your board, and you're going to start to roll it out as thin as you would like. Remember, some people like thicker rotis than others. Me, on the other hand, I do like a thinner roti. And I wanted to mention that as you're rolling out your roti, you want to make sure to get those edges nice and thin, so this way they can cook evenly as the whole entire roti cooks. So I have my tawa on a medium heat and I just put my roti on, and as soon as you see the roti start to dry out a little bit at the top, you're going to flip it over. Once you flip it over, you're going to go ahead and oil this side. You're going to just brush that oil on nice and liberally, and if you wanted to, you could use ghee, you could use butter, you could use any type of oil. Today I'm using olive oil, as you guys saw when I was mixing it in the dough as well. So once you go ahead and get the oil on one side, you are going to flip it again, and then once you flip it, you are also going to oil the other side now. And after you oil the second side and you flip it over again, you're going to see that that is when your roti starts to puff up perfectly. Once it puffs up on the inside, it is done cooking and it is ready to take off the heat. So I just wanted to go over the cooking process one more time just so you can get a feel for how to cook these rotis. Once you go ahead and put it on your tawa, you're going to flip it once and you're going to oil it. And whenever you're making dal puri or any type of filled roti, I find you need to oil it very liberally so this way it comes out really nice and soft and it stays moist and doesn't dry out. And then once you flip it again, you're going to oil the second side. And then after you oil the second side, what you're really going to want to do is just keep cooking it until it puffs up totally and until all of the edges are cooked. As you guys can see, it totally fills the space on my tawa, so sometimes you might have to bring all of those edges in so this way they could cook fully and evenly. And you guys saw me in the beginning screen using my hands to flip. Please don't do that if you are a first timer, because what happens is when this roti fills with air, all of that hot steam can burn your hands. So I recommend using a spatula just like how I'm doing in this screen. And as you guys can see here, this is the stage where I'm pulling it towards the middle, so this way all of those ends can cook. So after flipping it over a few times, getting all of those edges to cook, this roti is totally done. Now, some of your rotis, I'm going to be totally honest, they're not going to puff up 100% just because as you're rolling, sometimes you get minor holes and stuff inside. But I promise you the taste will be amazing. So take your roti off the heat and it's ready to serve. Now before I show you guys the finished product, I just want to take a moment to admire how this roti flips and how it looks on the tawa right now. Whenever roti is super soft like this and folds up like this, that's how you know that the roti is going to be soft and silky and almost melt in your mouth as you're eating it. I'm so excited to eat this, guys. Alright guys, it is as easy as that. This is my finished Channa Puri. I'm going to go ahead and break it open for you guys to see. As you guys can see, it breaks open very easily. It's very soft. All of those peas are coming out along with that steam. And everyone, this is totally amazing. It is the perfect quarantine recipe to use ingredients that we have on hand right now at home. So I hope for some of you guys who have all of this extra time, you go ahead and head into your kitchen and give this recipe a try. You will not be disappointed. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. Do all of those amazing things. Leave your comments down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. And being that we are in this crazy time, I hope you all stay safe, and I'll see you guys again very soon with another quarantine recipe.